Good morning, my sandpiper artists. It's October 5th. It is a red day, and we're going to start our next art project. Up on the screen, you see a picture of what we're going to create today, and it is called a flower burst. And the only two things you're going to need today are markers and white paper. Now, markers, if you want to substitute those with anything else, crayons, colored pencils, paints, feel free to do that. I love to see different experimentation. So let's get started. As you can see, the due date is on Tuesday, October 12th. So you have 7 days to finish this. And we are going to begin. Okay, to create our flower, we are going to start with a black marker. If you want to use a Sharpie, which is permanent, that's fine. Or just a Crayola is fine also. To start our flower, we're going to start a little bit above the center, right about here. And we're going to draw a circle about the size of a dime or maybe a nickel. Now around that circle, we're going to start adding our petals. We're going to do 3 layers of petals first. And when we do our petals, they're never going to touch the center circle. You want to make those nice, fat, and big, and that'll make it easy to color in later. So there's 1 layer. We'll add layer number 2. We're going to follow the outline of the first petals, never touching anything. The second petals never touch the first petals. And we're going to do it one more time with our third layer. Again, they never touch. Keep it very simple. Okay, we're going to stop there on our petals. We'll continue with more in just a few minutes. But we need to add the stem. The stem's going to be a long, wavy line that starts at the very bottom of the flower, right in the center. And it's going to connect all the way down to the bottom of the paper. Now, that doesn't look like a stem right now. We need to make it a little bit thicker. So we're going to add 2 more lines on each side that follow the first line. There's 1 and 2. And on the other side, do 2 more. 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to move to the leaves that are connected to the stem. And on each side, we're going to start with a long line that almost goes to the edge of the paper. If it touches, it's fine. And then it comes back to where it started. Almost looks like a cat's eye. And we're going to do another one on the other side. And we have our 2 leaves that we're going to need. Now, we're also going to follow our leaves with 2 more lines on the top and the bottom. And they're going to follow the outline of the leaf. So we have 1, 2 on top, and 2 on the bottom. And do the same thing on the other side. 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. Okay, so we still have more to draw on our flower, but what I'm going to do right now is start adding some color. We're going to start with the stem and the leaves. Now I'm going to choose 2 colors, and they can be any 2 colors of your choice. They do not have to be green, but in this instance I am going to use a green and a purple. So to create the colors in our stem, we'll start in the first area, color it green. Remember, this is your choice of colors. It does not have to be green. Then my next will be purple. We're basically doing a two-color pattern. For me, it's green and purple, green and purple. For yours, you may decide on two completely different colors. Now we want to use the same two colors on our, that we used for our stem on our leaves also. And we'll continue that pattern. Here's my purple. I know that will be green, so I skip to my purple here. Skip another and do my purple here. I'm adding green in between. And do the same on the other side. I started with purple at the top here, so I want to start with purple at the top over here. Looking pretty good. Take your time. And we are done with our stem and our leaves now. We can put these colors to the side. And we're going to go ahead back to our black marker and finish our petals on our flower. Now this can be tricky, so please pay attention. Pause the video if you need to, and replay it if you need to, just to see exactly how I created the rest of the flowers. So we're going to continue with our petals following the last layer of petals. This time I'm going to start at the stem, and I'm going to keep following without touching. Remember, they should not touch. If it does by accident, it is okay. You can see I kind of touched over here on the stem. Not a big thing. I'm going to continue. I'm getting close to the edge of the paper, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go off the paper, pretend it goes off, and comes back on, goes back off, and then follows the flower again, back to the other side of the stem. Okay? Now I have all these spaces here. I still need to follow my petals. Very simple. Okay, now you can start seeing the burst in the flower. Now down below the leaves, we're going to follow the outline of the leaves all the way down to the bottom of the paper. On both sides. Okay, we finished our flower. We just now have to complete it with some colors. Now for the petals and everything below the leaves, we're going to use a 3-color pattern. If you want to use 2 colors, I don't mind that at all. Since we only use 2 for the petals and leaves, I'm going to go ahead and use 3 for the petals. And I've chosen these colors. These are considered warm colors, orange, red, and yellow. They're also colors of the season of fall, which actually is already started. Tomorrow is October 1st, and you will start this on October 5th. So I'm going to go ahead and use these fall colors. So my pattern will begin in the center, in the circle. I'll do my red. I'll follow it next with orange. Take your time in coloring. You have a lot of time to finish this, so there's no reason to race. Try to get done quickly. Each project you do, you're going to get better and better at art. Mr. Mocker was not a very good artist when he was in first, second grade, but I kept at it. I was always a good colorer, but it took time before I learned how to draw well. And I'm so glad that I took my time and I did not get impatient. I just kept at it. And there's the start of my pattern. I've got my first three colors, red, orange, yellow. So of course I'm going to continue with red. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward. I have one here that I finished. You can see my pattern. We have red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, and it continues. Down below the leaves, I kept the same three-color pattern. I started with yellow, though, here. So it's yellow, red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, red, orange. And I did the same thing on the opposite side. As you can see, yellow is a very cool color. It's not a really popular color, but on some art projects, it really stands out. It really adds a lot to the final project. Okay, so there you have it. You have my flower with my three colors. I can't wait to see some of your flowers. If you can use markers, I would suggest using markers just for this project. But if you don't, be creative. Use those paints. Use those colored pencils or crayons. But just be creative. You may mess up the first time. You may need to start over. Or you may do more than one flower. You may want to try to improve on your first one. I look forward to seeing your flowers, and I hope you have a good art day, and we will see you next time.